ESPN's college basketball on ABC, presented by KFC. It brings us to a sold-out Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas. Our Big 12 matchup, the Cowboys against the number 24 team in the country, the hometown Jayhawks. 125 straight sellouts. Oklahoma at last report was 10 points up on Colorado and Norman. It looks like the Sooners, the number 2 team in the country, will be 9-0. Kansas trying to keep pace. If they win today, they'll just be one game back in the win column. Welcome to Allen Fieldhouse, everybody. You don't have to ask for a blue out here. You just get one. Sold out. Brad Nessler with Jimmy Dykes. And Jimmy, last year they win the national championship with an overtime win. They weren't supposed to be this good. They lost all those guys from a year ago. What gives?
Bill Self is still here. One of the top 5 coaching jobs in the country right now belongs to the hands of Bill Self with his young Jayhawks in contention for a Big 12 title. Very important game for them today, Brad, as their schedule in Big 12 play gets much more difficult starting Monday at Missouri. And think about Oklahoma State. A quality resume win today at stake for these guys, and they're in the hunt for an NCAA bid as well.
Oklahoma State can shoot it. They're the number 5 scoring team in the country. Let's take a look at our star watch. And 2 guys will watch at the point.
Byron Eaton drew 11 fouls in the second half against Texas Tech. Went 18 for 20 from the free throw stripe in their last game. 26 points last year against the Jayhawks. Sharon Collins, a Cousy Award finalist, a Wooden Award finalist. 2 of the great point guards in the country, both hard to guard.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups. First for the visiting Cowboys of Travis Ford. Here's how it looks. Manello and Moses. Up front, it's really a 4-guard offense with 1 forward, the backcourt, Eaton, Anderson, and Harris. And for the hometown Jayhawks and Bill Self. Up front, Cole Aldridge and Marcus Morris, one of the Morris twins. And the backcourt, the aforementioned Sharon Collins running the show with Morningstar and Taylor. It is a great day for basketball. It's a great day outside, too. Almost record-breaking temperatures, and it's about to heat up inside right now. Kansas has won 7 straight. Oklahoma State beat them by a point a year ago. Mark Whitehead, Don Daly, and Mike Thibodeau, the officials, in front of 16,000 plus. Here we go.
Brad, Oklahoma State will run some man-to-man. They'll run some zone, some 1-3-1. They'll go from zone to man within the possession. Very important for Sharon Collins to recognize it.
Here's Aldridge trying to back in. Baseline jumper. Tough shot. What an opener for the masked man.
He has size that Oklahoma State cannot match up with in this basketball game.
Terrell Harris. Here's Eaton inside. Has to kick it back out. 3-pointer en route, and it's short. And it's rebounded by Marcus Morris. Here comes Sharon Collins on the run. Eaton meets him at the top of the circle.
More like a couple of little running backs going head-to-head, weren't they, in the open field?
Absolutely. Nice feed down inside. Morris. 4-0 Kansas.
Brad, I love what Kansas has established. The first 60 seconds of this ball game, pounded inside to the blue part of the floor. The guys in orange, they're awfully small.
Baseline jumper goes for Marshall Moses, coming off a career-high game in the win over Texas Tech earlier this week. Whistle and foul's going to be on Moses. Travis Ford, his first year as the head coach at Oklahoma State after successful seasons at UMass. And Bill Self, well, it speaks for itself, doesn't it? Look at the record in his 6th year, including last year's national championship with a win over Memphis. Memphis coming up tonight on ESPN in prime time against Gonzaga. Whistle, and the foul's going to be on Terrell Harris. So a couple of quick ones on Moses and Harris.
I tell you why Bill Self is still as good as he is after a national championship. He coaches in practice like he's never won a Big 12 title. He is a hungry head coach.
Aldridge shoved a little bit, no foul call. Morris tried to come down with a rebound, hit the deck hard. And here come the Cowboys. Anderson dishes out, 3-pointer, short again. Now you better get back. Collins, he's cut off by Eaton again. And a push. And Travis Ford has to seat himself. He didn't like the call.
Well, but twice now, Eaton has gotten back defensively and done a great job of deleting the drive ability of Sharon Collins.
Travis' face the same color as his tie already. Byron Eaton has had foul troubles in the past, and they can ill afford to not have him on the court.
Well, he's fouled out of 3 of 7 Big 12 games, and the complexion changes as all great point guards do when he goes to the bench.
Collins for 3.
Dangerous time for Oklahoma State. This is a Fall Gallon Fieldhouse that can rock with the best of them early. Oklahoma State needs an answer right now.
Will they get it for 3? No. Third time they've missed on the long ball from the left side. Back come the Jayhawks with a 5-point lead.
I go right back inside and check the size.
They tried to get it to Morris. Pass was a little deep, and now here's a bump foul on Tyshawn Taylor.
Well, Bill Self with a lot of youngsters, but he has 2 studs to rebuild around in Sharon Collins and Cole Aldrich. Collins, such an outstanding point guard, Brad. When he gives the ball up, he assumes the role of a 2 guard. Just very difficult to stay up with him in the entire half-court area.
Cowboys could really use a bucket this trip. Already down 5. 2.5 minutes into the game. They get it. And they get it from Manello.
I like what they did. Instead of going for a 3-point opportunity, they curl Manello off of a ball screen, little headhunter screen action, knocked down a 15-footer.
Collins is open again for 3. Got it again.
Brad, he catches that ball. He's a point guard that catches the ball, shot ready and shot prepped every time.
Manello stolen, 2-on-1. Taylor and Collins bring it together. And Eaton somehow avoided a foul there. He might have gotten away with one. That's what the crowd thinks. Anderson off the glass. Aldridge with a rebound. Collins, kick out. Taylor misses from outside, but he got his own rebound. And an offensive foul. So Taylor's got 2 fouls.
Just a time down before, though. Eaton and Collins, the 2 former high school football players with a lot of contact, and that's what Bill Self was upset about. In the very next possession, Oklahoma State, they don't have a rim protector, so their rim protector is taking charges at the rim. They do, and they get the basketball because of it.
If you were a Cowboy fan right there, you were holding your breath when 0-0 went up against number 4. 10-4. Kansas early. Anderson for 3. He got bumped a little bit as he missed the 3. And back come the Jayhawks.
Be patient. See if your size in the white uniforms can have the advantage over the orange uniforms. There's your size. Get the advantage.
Hook shot by Aldridge.
Very patient Kansas Jayhawk team to start this ball game in the half court.
For as many times as Cole Aldridge has already adjusted that face mask, I'm surprised he got that hook shot to go. In fact, he was doing it right up until the time he caught the pass. Biggest lead of the game so far for Kansas, up 8. Eaton on the drive against Morningstar. Goes up against the tall Timbers. Aldridge clears it off to Morningstar on the run. Ahead to Morris. And he's going to the free throw line. Not a good start for the Cowboys. But one masked man's playing like the Lone Ranger right now already.
ESPN's college basketball on ABC. Presented by KFC's sauceless hot wings. Spicy on the inside, crunchy on the outside. And the Hyundai Assurance, an automaker that's got your back. Isn't that a nice change?
T-shirt weather in Lawrence, Kansas. Beautiful outside, has been for the last couple of days. 15:24 to go in the half. 12-4, 36 straight home wins is the longest current winning streak in the country. They started it 2 years ago today. So they haven't lost in 2 years, a little over 2 years at home.
Bill Self told me yesterday that it took him until about mid-December, Brad, of this year to not coach this year's team like he coached last year's team. As far as expectations of execution and retention to scouting reports, game to game, intensity within the game. And he said from that point on in mid-December, he started coaching this year's team with this year's expectations. He's a better coach, he said, right now because of it, and his team is playing better because of it.
Playing great right now. Out to a 10-point cushion against a high-scoring Oklahoma State team. And I'm backcourt pressure. And Eton says, get out of my way. I got enough on my plate with number 4 in my face. And he'll bring it into the front court.
Oklahoma State averages 25 three-point attempts per ball game. They will keep firing from distance. That's why they're capable of coming back.
A walk. That they didn't need. They average about 13 turnovers a game. And they give it back to Kansas 5 minutes into the game with a 10-point lead for the Jayhawks. Here comes a little backcourt pressure from the Cowboys.
Yep, 2-2-1. If you're patient against it and execute, you can shoot layups.
Collins will shoot a 3. That one's too long. Morningstar bounced off his leg. Eton had the handle and had it stripped away. It'll still be Oklahoma State basketball. They're going to go to their bench. And in comes Keaton Page, a freshman. Don't let the size and look fool you. He can play.
When they walked in last night about 8 o'clock, he was one of the first guys in, and I almost asked him to get me a bottle of water because he looks like the student manager, but he's an Oklahoma High School Player of the Year that can flat out shoot it.
They're going to need some shots to fall. There goes one. 3 by Manello.
That's
his
why they're
61st of the year.
Brad, that's why they're dangerous. All 4 guys on that perimeter now are perimeter threats, so they keep you stretched for 40 minutes.
They've got 4 guys with over 100 career threes, so you know they can shoot. Here's Little trying to get it down to Aldridge. Aldridge hook shot. This time it won't go. Kept alive, though, by Mario Little. Here's Morningstar for 3. Got it. Kansas can shoot a little bit, too. Eton kick out. Triple. Another one for Manello. Back-to-back threes.
Brad, those are the plays right there by Eton that he does not make his first 3 years. That drive to the rim and kick out.
Now it's becoming a horse contest from outside the arc. Eton going to try to get against the big guy, hoping to draw a foul, didn't get it. And Aldridge held his ground and got the pass out to Collins. Little looking for a trailer and finds one. And finally, we slow the pace just a little bit.
Brad, I'd go inside. You've got Mario Little, who's a same-size guy, but Cole Aldridge has a 6-inch height advantage.
Little got a mid-range jumper and knocked it down.
Great job of utilizing Aldridge as a decoy almost, getting all the attention and letting Little slip in from behind.
Manello now is the guy that would like to touch it for the Cowboys. He's hit back-to-back triples. Here he is, guarded by Morningstar. Anderson stumbles and walks. I think that's his 2nd turnover.
At Oklahoma State, in their last 4 ball games, 50% of their baskets, 50% of their baskets have come off a dribble, drive, and kick to the perimeter. That is their offense. And when Eton goes to the bench, that offense is not near as effective as when he's on the floor. They are easier to guard right now than they were 15 seconds ago when Eton was on the floor.
Morningstar got a look. Little too hard, and the rebound comes off to Anthony Brown. Nobody on Harris right now as he flies in on the baseline. He can't get it to go, but he will go to the free throw line. Markieff Morris picks up the foul. There's the 3-point shooting that we were talking about.
And Myron Eton, not even on the graphic, at 36, 38% in Big 12 play. And they can really stretch it. That's the system that Travis Ford learned and utilized as a player under Rick Pitino. The problem he has right now, Brad, with a short bench, he has multiple starters playing 34-plus minutes a ball game.
Yep.
Travis Ford played 38 minutes a ball game as a senior, so he says it can be done. I've done it myself.
Do as I did and say as I do.
Exactly. I asked Travis yesterday if he's ever coached in this building. He said no, but I played here as a freshman at Missouri. We were number 2 in the nation. Kansas was number 1. I stuck 2 free throws in the final seconds to pull off the upset. So he comes into this building as a head coach with some confidence.
Little for 3. Got it. Little with 5 off the bench. Lead back to double digits.
Brad, Mario Little is scoring 1 point every 2 minutes. He scores at the same ratio as Sharon Collins right now.
Manello trying for his 3rd three, and it's Collins with a rebound. 8 minutes into the game, Kansas with a 10-point lead.
And now Kansas is easier to guard without Aldrich on the floor.
Nice lead, but a foul. It's going to be on Collins. Offensive foul, trying to dish it off inside. 11:51 remaining first half. Kansas in front, 22-12. All right, Rav. Well, that story will only have legs for about 10 years. It's 22-12 here, Kansas at Fog Allen Fieldhouse. Jimmy, this is quite a place. Built in 1955. Doesn't matter where you sit, it has an impact on you.
No, right about there, when I was about 10 years old, was where I sat in my very first college basketball game ever. My dad brought me to a Kansas State basketball game, and that day impacted my life for the rest of my life, Brad. Not as far as falling in love with Kansas or Kansas State, but falling in love with a game of basketball in this atmosphere. Just a terrific building, and from that point on, I had college basketball in my blood for the rest of my life, sitting right up there in Section 5 when I was 10 years old.
Where'd BW get those tickets?
From his boss.
Okay, that's good.
From his boss.
Good job, Dad.
Yes, he did.
11.5 to go in the first half. Here's Morris. Marquise Morris going baseline. Nice rebound by Terrell Harris. He's going to get an open look for 3. Morris tipped it. Little had a hand on it. And a whistle and a foul. All new episode of Lost coming up Wednesday at 9/8 Central, followed by New Life on Mars on ABC. Great new season of Lost just getting started. For the island castaways, their destiny demands sacrifice. Wednesday night. Somebody's not going to make it through Wednesday night. Might want to tune in. Going to lose somebody off the island permanently. Reed trying to feed it to Little, had it come right back to him.
Oklahoma State's not great defensively, Brad. They need just enough stops each half to stay in this ball game.
They haven't even pushed Kansas to 10 seconds on the shot clock, and when they do, in that case, they forced a turnover. Obi Manello comes back in. He's been the offense so far for Oklahoma State. With a couple of threes. He's got 62 three-pointers on the season. And he was held scoreless in the Texas Tech game. The 1-point win at home earlier this week. First time he's been held scoreless in 59 games. So he erased that taste out of his mouth in a hurry here early in this one. Almost the midway point of the first half. It's Kansas by 10. Here he is, Manello from 17. Aldridge clears it ahead. Nice drive to the basket by Rutherford. Pull up 3 on the other end. It won't go. Aldridge snatches another rebound. Kansas up a dozen.
Now the game's back to a half-court game. Let 45 Aldridge get a touch inside. Be patient. He'll shoot layups if you do.
Good open look from just outside the free throw line, but it won't fall for Tyrell Reed.
I like the patience. I don't like the fact that Aldridge never got a touch of it.
And there's nobody there but one white jersey. That's how quick that shot was on the other end. Had it gone, great. But as it was, Aldridge says, you know, these rebounds are easy right now.
Your fear if you're Bill Self, Oklahoma State comes in averaging 10 3-point makes a ball game. They're maybe due to have one of those make 14 or 15 in a ball game type deals.
Appleton had it swiped by Eton. Nice adjustment by Manello. The tip's no good. Whoa, getting physical under there. No whistle. Back comes Kansas 3-on-3. Reverse layup is blocked by Marshall Moses. Foul on Appleton, his first. Appleton and Relaford getting minutes because they've got a 12-point lead.
Well, and also because of this pace, I think Bill Self might feel like he needs to go a little bit deeper on this bench, because Kansas is not afraid to run in this building, and if you can get into Oklahoma State's bench, it's another plus on your side, and Bill Self knows it.
Eton still scoreless. Part of that, Sharon Collins. Part of it's that they sat him a little bit to make sure he didn't get in foul trouble. Marshall Moses trying to back in with a left hand. Got it.
Nice move by Moses. Just banged Aldrich a little bit. Aldrich didn't give ground, so he kept his dribble alive. The double team didn't come. He has to shoot a fadeaway, but he's good at it because he's undersized.
Collins with Eton right in his chest.
Oklahoma State's half-court defense has been pretty solid in this ball game so far.
Morris down low, leaves it for Aldridge. Maybe one too many passes there. Aldridge has a little bit of trouble with rebounds that come off at a weird angle because of the blind spots on that mask, and he might have had a little bit of trouble with that pass right there. You can't see everything wearing that deal.
That's a great point. It's the balls above his head that he loses.
Nice adjustment in midair to try to draw the foul, and Taylor did. Timeout, 7:55 remaining. First half, all Kansas at home, leading by 10. Who was that tall masked man? Cole Aldridge with 4 points. We talked about the mask and the famous masked man of yesteryear, Zorro, of course. The most famous of all, Clayton Moore, the Lone Ranger, Batman, Phantom of the Opera. How about Mike Myers in Halloween? Just some of the other famous masked men. Cole came over to Jimmy and I before the ball game. He says, we're going to send this thing in and get a great big Jayhawk logo on the side of this baby. And he's got not only the face mask, but he's got the clear mouth guard, and he's got more plastic on his face than Joan Collins out there. At the free throw line.
Yesterday afternoon after practice, he walked to the midcourt, stood on the Jayhawk with his girlfriend, and asked me to take a picture of them. And then Common Sense Index me today, asked him before the game, I just want to make sure that was your girlfriend that I took a picture of with you before I tell the story on the air. And he said, yes, sir, it was.
And I asked him if he has to wear that on dates. No, he doesn't. 12-point lead, Kansas. Nice baseline move by Marshall Moses. Collins, Morningstar, Morris, Aldridge, and Taylor starting 5 on the floor for Kansas. Morris from the free throw line. Oh, that was halfway down, and it spit itself back out. Here comes the freshman, Keaton Page.
Brad, they will keep shooting threes now. That's why they're dangerous.
That one just inside the three-point line and now stuck against the rim. We have had that happen in the last 3 games we've done, and I don't think it's happened in the last 5 years. Later tonight, ESPN's got a good one for you. Number 1, UConn takes on Michigan at 6. Then at 9 Eastern, Saturday night primetime presented by DirecTV. Memphis goes out to Spokane to take on the Bulldogs of Gonzaga.
Memphis, one of those teams kind of off the national radar right now. I tell you what, defensively and rebounding the basketball, they are going to be a handful come March.
Moses misses, knew he was going to miss, tried to get his own rebound, but Morris got a hand on it first.
Now, Oklahoma State's in a 2-3 zone. Don't be surprised. After about 10 seconds, they switch to a man.
Air ball, Aldridge right where he needed to be. Pretty sure, I think Morris is going to say, you know, that was a pass. I get an assist out of that. I think it was a bad shot that Aldridge cleaned up. He's got 6. They shade Moses down there, that low block, almost a double team, but he still gets a shot away. Not a great one. Morris out to Taylor. Collins has the baseline, gives it back up outside. And nice play defensively by James Anderson to knock it out of bounds.
Or Sharon Collins, you saw him drive that baseline, Brad. He's one of those point guards once he gets inside the defense, his vision really opens up. He's only 5'10", 5'11", but he sees the other 9 guys on the floor at all times. That's why he's one of those Cousy Award finalists. His vision is outstanding.
Bill Self saying the official's vision wasn't outstanding by calling that ball out of bounds to the Cowboys. Fans obviously agree with him in here. There's 6 minutes to go in the half. Kansas has led the entire way. Aldridge, nice defense, and he pulls down the miss by Anthony Brown.
As long as Aldridge can hold his own defensively one-on-one, there's no reason to double team inside.
Taylor's going to take it for 3.
Boy, fake the pass to make the pass, or fake the pass to take the shot. Great job by Taylor, Brad. Quick little ball fake to the left side. The defender went that way, and he stuck it in his grill.
Nice feed down low. Manello with the pass, but Anderson couldn't handle it.
Tyshawn Taylor had gone 5 straight games without a 3-point make, but watch what he does here. Boom. See that little ball fake? It throws the defender, had him in no man's land, caught him halfway. He rises up with good elevation. The little ball fake is what separated him to measure that rim.
So the lead is swelled to 15 with 5 to go in the first half. Oklahoma State's got to close this gap, though they've had some thrilling comebacks from big-time halftime deficits. You don't want to be 20 in a hole to this team. Rebound by Manello. Harris drives up, and offensive foul, I think, on Harris. Yes, it is.
Brad, Kansas is the #1 field goal defensive team in this league at 38%. They understand how to take a charge. Oklahoma State over-penetrating right now with their guards. They get to that 6-foot mark, they better pull off and use the angle of the board shot. It's costing them right now on the offensive end.
There goes a 15-point-a-game scorer to the bench with 3 personals. We may not see him till the second TV timeout in the second half. Who knows? Kansas turns it over. Bill Self so successful every place he's been. One of 4 head coaches to lead 3 different teams to the Elite 8. Did it at Tulsa, did it at Illinois. Of course, won it all last year. With a much different team. This is a much younger team, and as Jimmy said, even Sharon Collins wasn't a starter last year. Manello got another 3, his 3rd of the first half. He's trying to keep them close.
As poorly as they've shot it, look at that score, 31-19. In their last 2 defensive possessions, Oklahoma State's got a turnover out of it. Back to their 2-3 zone.
Morningstar quick pass, nice ball movement in the paint to Little. He faded out of the paint to take the shot off the glass, and he's got 7. Pull up by Eton for 3. Long rebound, who's it going to be? It'll be Markieff Morris. The Morrises haven't played together so far in this game, so we can keep them straight for you. It's not easy.
Matchup zone. You see Oklahoma State, a lot of pointing. They're saying, I got the next guy around. That's yours, this is mine. That's a sign of a matchup zone.
Air ball, Eton pulled off the backside. He stops and leads it for the hot hand, Manello. This time it won't go, though. And Morris on the rebound.
Those are the shots that they have to make if they're going to stay in this game on the road.
Here's a 3. Tipped. Rebounded by Oklahoma State, and then a foul on Kansas. It's going to be on Little. That'll be his first. A little over 3 to go. First half, 14-point Jayhawk lead. Back in Lawrence, college basketball presented by KFC. 14-point lead by Kansas. They have led throughout the game. We've got 3:04 till halftime. Carl Ravitch will be along with the UBS halftime report. The Sooners survive over Colorado in Big 12 play. The Blue Devils bounce back. Apparently Duke a winner over Florida State. And A-Rod and a positive steroid test. Holy smokes. Carl will have all that and more coming up at halftime.
Kansas and Oklahoma, 2 of the 9 current unbeaten teams in conference play. Going into last night, we had 11. Cornell gets beat in the Ivy League, and Marquette in a stunning loss at South Florida. And now we're down to 9 unbeatens in conference play.
Didn't you have Marquette in first class in your Jimmy
They were,
jet?
And then I had to move them to business class.
You moved them to,
after last night.
I was wondering where you put them. I didn't ask you that yet today. Here's a three. Tell you what, Manello, with his 4th three-pointer of the first half, is single-handedly keeping this thing within striking distance for the Cowboys.
Brad, as poorly as they've shot at Oklahoma State, if they are within 10 at the half, I think Travis Ford's going to feel pretty good going into that second 20 minutes.
They were down 12 at halftime at home to Texas Tech and came back to win. They had a 16-point deficit at one point in that game. They've been down 15 in this one. So it's not outside the realm of possibility that they can put together what Jimmy said, a shooting war to maybe get right back in the game. Collins for three. That time, Eton stayed with him, and that wasn't his best three-point look. This will be a pretty good three-point look, but it doesn't go. Aldridge clears it off. Cole Aldridge is saying, you know what, this is like stealing candy from a little kid. His rebound, there's nobody around him. He's got 10 boards already.
Byron Eton on Sharon Collins, just like guarding yourself. And you know how to do that. Eton has done a great job of staying lower than the dribbler in this ball game, keeping Collins out of the lane.
Morningstar for three. Kansas now is Marcus Morris on Manello as they go inside, and that won't fall for Brown. Got his own miss and tried to force it up there, and it was stripped out of there by Reed.
Dangerous time for the Cowboys. They had a chance to cut it to 10 going into the half, and now they're staring at 14. The Jayhawks have the ball.
See if they can get a stop. Kansas is going to milk the clock. Just over a minute remaining on the game clock. 15 on the shot clock. Morris is fouled on the alley-oop. Collins threw it in there, and it's going to be Anderson that picks up the foul. ABC, your NBA destination tomorrow as 4 division leaders square off. First, Tim Duncan and the Spurs take on the world champion Celtics. Then for the only remaining time of the regular season, LeBron and Kobe will square off as the Lakers and Cavs. Coverage starts 12:30 Eastern on ABC tomorrow. Timeout, 1:05 remaining first half here. If you don't join Jimmy Dykes and I every Tuesday on Super Tuesday on ESPN, Jimmy has put together the last couple of years Jimmy's Jets, which is a jetting his way to the NCAA tournament, and he puts people by class. And here's your NCAA jet as of today.
And there's only 65 seats on this jet. And these are schools that have a new coach this year. Marquette is now in business class under Buzz Williams. LSU, Trent Johnson, Cal, and South Carolina, who we saw Tuesday night, have a solid coach seat right now. And then you have some teams on standby like Oklahoma State with first-year head coach Travis Ford that are pleading their case.
Right. Well, you mentioned Marquette, kind of a surprising loss to South Florida, at South Florida, so boom, they get bumped.
They were in first class. Now they're back there in business class. They keep losing. They'll move back to a good, solid exit row aisle seat. If you keep losing more than that, you're sitting back there by the blue water on the back row of the plane. That's not where you want to be.
Well, like at the beginning of the year, you had Georgetown and Notre Dame, for instance, and they were up there already in business class. And right now they're out by the curb going, how much do I have to pay for the bags? Right?
Yeah, Georgetown, you're right. They went from a great seat to curbside, trying to talk their way back in the airport. So many crazy things happen as you're trying to fight your way onto that jet.
See if they can get Manello a touch. Here he is, but it's on the inside. The follow with authority by Marshall Moses.
Timeout called Kansas.
Kansas takes a timeout with 42 seconds remaining in the half. You have to go back a long ways to find Kansas' last home loss. It was just a little over 2 years ago. AC Law scored the last 5 points for Texas A&M, including the go-ahead three-pointer with 20 seconds left. The Aggies erased a 10-point deficit to win by 3. AC Law had 23 points and 7 assists. That was A&M's first win over Kansas since the Big 12 was formed in its expanded version in 1996. And after that, they went to February 7th of 2 years ago. That's when they started winning, and they haven't lost since. 36 straight coming into this one.
And Brad, their last Big 12 loss was at Oklahoma State last year. And Travis Ford, just like Darren Horn at South Carolina and Buzz Williams up at Marquette, inherited a pretty good nucleus to work with. Sean Sutton, 140 games in 2 years there at Oklahoma State. Had 2 McDonald's All-Americans in Eton and Anderson. It's a pretty good guard group to have your first year.
Oklahoma State won that game 61-60. 49 of their 61 points are right here, either on the bench or on the floor. So tells you how much they had coming back as compared to what Kansas had coming back. Here's a tip. Trying to come up with a steal. It's going to be off Collins, out of bounds. Nice hustle by Keaton Page to force a Kansas turnover and give the Cowboys a chance now to cut this to 10 or maybe better. We understand that Texas has lost again today. That is what, 3 in a row?
And another team that was high in coach. Now they're on the standby list. Very important for Oklahoma State to win the last 29 seconds, Brad. They knock down a 3 and get a stop. They're going to be right there at that 10-point mark that I talked about. Mentally, Oklahoma State needs a closing half basket right now.
Eton had to use about 40% of his remaining energy just to catch that inbounds pass. And now he's just going to hold it out here with Collins on him until about the 10-second mark, and then he'll look for a pick. Here they go.
Brad, take it late enough that Kansas doesn't get the last shot of this half.
Here's Page. Freshman missed it. Rebound is. Possession arrow's going to Kansas. And they've got .8. Well, they took it, they think, late enough, but there's time to throw one up from about 60 feet.
It's got to be a catch and a throw. It can't be a catch and a bounce and a shot. Catch.
There's the old quarterback throwing long. Had it knocked down, though, by the Oklahoma State defense. Cole Aldridge, 10 boards in the first half. Very few of them were contested, along with 6 points to lead the way. And it's Kansas 37, Oklahoma State 24 at halftime, as we're set for our UBS halftime report. Back in the studio, Carl Ravage. Rav. They have definitely been rocking at Fog Island Fieldhouse in the first half. Our college basketball presented by KFC brings us back to Lawrence, where our halftime score 37-24. Kansas led from the first basket all the way through. Brad Nessler with Jimmy Dykes. Jimmy, the 2 stories, I think. Byron Eton, who's coming off a career-high game and had a 26-point game last year against these guys, hasn't scored, and they can't seem to hang with Aldridge inside as far as rebounds.
His size is a big factor. Rebounding the basketball right now, Cole Aldridge, Brad, already with 10 caroms in this ball game. Because of the fast pace, I really appreciate Aldridge's ability to stay up in this ball game speed-wise from end to end. Has put him in position to get easy rebounds. What concerns you right now if you're Bill Self? Oklahoma State, 4 out of 16 from the three-point line. They're capable of making 8 or 9 in this second half, and Byron Eton has not gotten to the free throw stripe. Kansas has done a great job of defending 0-0 in orange without fouling.
All 4 of those 3-pointers were Obi Manello, number 2. Here's Anderson trying one of his own. And on the rebound is Collins. Sharon brings Kansas down on the run.
Brad, 1 of 2 things will happen in this ball game. Oklahoma State will start making threes and make a run, or they will continue to miss threes, and Kansas will win this thing by 30.
Taylor misses, and there's a rebound offensively that we didn't see much of. Harris pulls that one down. Eton pull up 3. Well, so much as the officials stop play. So much for Eton being scoreless.
I think they're going to check the monitor to make sure that both sneakers were behind that 3-point line on the takeoff.
I thought it was a 3, but I was right behind him, so I didn't have the greatest angle in the world. Oh, he's way behind it, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's not the same shot.
Yes, that's a 3.
Yeah, that's a
Good
3.
job, guys.
There we go. Our Pacific Life game summary. Only 27% from the floor for Oklahoma State in the first half. And Jimmy mentioned 4 out of 16 on their 3-pointers and only 2 free throws. They made them both. It's been all Kansas. Kansas shot 43%, but they had 6 threes themselves. Here's Aldridge.
A good job by Oklahoma State to recover under control and not allow Collins to get in the lane.
There's another rebound by Aldridge. He missed in close, though, with the left hand, and it's saved by Manello.
Brad, he got rushed. He's too big to get rushed in this ball game around that rim.
Anderson, nice kick out. Wide open three. Doesn't go, though, for Harris.
You get the feeling Oklahoma State's just a couple of made threes away from feeling like they can stay in this ball game.
Well, if they get one more stop and they get something on the other end, they'll at least have it down to single digits. There's the stop, or at least the missed shot by Aldridge. Now let's see if they can get it down to single digits. It's been kind of a long time. Moses knew he was going to miss that, but Aldridge clears it off. Aldridge has got 12 boards in this game already.
That's way too quick of a shot by Moses.
Big guy gives it right back. They work the perimeter.
Well, they move that ball well, don't they? Very crisp offense out of the Jayhawks today.
Here's Morris banging his way on the baseline. And got bumped by Manello, who picks up his second foul.
First team foul on Oklahoma State.
Pacific Life game summary. Manello, you see, with the 14 points, hit all 4 of those threes. Aldridge now has 12 rebounds, had 10 at halftime. And Kansas, from the opening shot of Aldridge, has led throughout the game.
Yeah, we talked in the open about Bill Self and one of the top 5 coaching jobs in the nation this year. The 11th youngest team in the country. But I look across the country right now at teams like Florida, Butler, Memphis, UCLA, West Virginia, all with key guys playing key minutes in that freshman class. And those teams have all gotten better. Bill Self is one of them.
Team goes back in front by 12. They're just waiting to trap Eton. Moses with the left hand. Nice shot by Marshall Moses. He's in double figures. So he's got 10. Manello's got 14. And then it's 2 for Harris and just that 1 3-pointer by Eton. Morningstar, let's go from the right side, and nails his third 3 of the ball game.
Brad, and he shot the ball well after a bad pass. He had to go to his ankles to get it. Normally that throws a shooter off of his rhythm.
Manello gave up a 3, worked for a 15-footer and drilled it. He's got 16.
I think Oklahoma State can score enough in this half. I don't know if they can get enough stops. They need just enough. They are not terrific defensively. And there's another example of it.
Great example of it, right on your cue. And Marcus Morris has 9. Great feed from the outside. He was wide open down low. Eton bumps and fouled. That one's going to be Tyshawn Taylor. That'll be his 3rd.
Brad, when the guys in orange extend their defense like they are right now, they don't have a rim protector. So you're going to watch a guy right here that's a rim scorer just get open and freed up. Flashes to the rim, no rim protector. And that's the gamble that Travis Ford is in right now as he extends his defense. No one to block shots around the orange thing.
Both Morrises, Markeith and Marcus in there right now. Marcus is number 22, Markeith's number 21. Manello walked with it.
You know, those perimeter players for Oklahoma State, Brad, have bad footwork. Other than Eton, you don't really have to worry about anyone catching the ball and quickly going by you. They've traveled, Anderson, Manello. Their footwork for a perimeter-oriented team is really not very good.
They put the foot before the dribble almost every time. In traffic, Kansas turns it over. Eton against Collins, offensive foul. He's frustrated right now, and Collins is the reason.
Again, Brad, Collins and Eton, they just have to think, how would I guard myself? Because they are mirror players of each other offensively in transition. Collins knew to keep his feet alive and keep his hips low. That's what bothers Collins, so Collins does that to Eton.
Morningstar 3, too deep. Trying to save it on the baseline was Harris. Going to be out of bounds to Kansas after this timeout. Just over 5 minutes into the second half. Kansas maintaining the lead they had at halftime. Up 44-31.
ESPN's College Basketball on ABC, presented by KFC, brought to you by the Hyundai Assurance, an automaker that's got your back. Isn't that a nice change?
(44-31) Kansas. They've led throughout. 15:54 remaining. All-new episode of ABC's Life on Mars coming up Wednesday at 10, 9 Central. After an all-new Lost, Life on Mars, a cop show unlike anything else on television. Nothing like being a cop on the streets of New York City fighting crime in 1973. Harvey Keitel, Jason O'Mara, and the gang. Life on Mars, Wednesday night on ABC. Brad Nessler and Jimmy Dykes. Life in Fog, Allen Fieldhouse. Beware the fog. Right now, I think Cowboys are thinking that. They have trailed throughout. They're down 13. They're going to have to start to do something about it soon if they're not to fall to 3-5 in conference play. Kansas trying to go to 8-0 and stay just one game in the win column behind an Oklahoma team that beat Colorado today. Anderson. He's been quiet all day. That's just inside the three-point line. And that is his first basket of the ball game.
Brad, when you trail on the road like Oklahoma State, you have to be able to get back-to-back-to-back stops. They've got one stop. Now can they string together two more in a row right now and get back in this game?
Little adjusts from about 14 feet, hung in the air and nailed it.
Can't do it. I mean, you have to have the ability to lock in and get three stops in a row when you're down like this in Fog Allen.
Moses up and under and one. Marshall Moses, a sophomore out of Aiken, South Carolina, with the move.
Marshall Moses is a guy that didn't really play the first 10 ball games. And at that semester break, Travis Ford brought him into his office and said, I think you'd be better off if you transferred because your attitude is not in line, your commitment is not in line with what we want to do. Kind of like what Rick Pitino did with Edgar Sosa. And from that day on, this Moses kid has really turned it around.
Moses, not one of the big scorers on this team. He's the only guy that's not in double digits, but look at the double-digit scores and what they haven't done today. Manello, the only guy that's holding up his end of the bargain. And Eton, just one three-pointer after 26, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals last year against Kansas. And now Little gets an easy one, not even contested, really.
The last 2 times Oklahoma State has extended their pressure in that 2-2-1, Kansas has shot layups against it.
This time Collins gets a quick foul as he goes head-to-head with Eton again. I tell you what, from a distance, if you just took that orange jersey and put it on Sharon Collins, you put the white one on Byron Eton, they are built so similarly, you couldn't tell the difference between the two. 5'11" former football players in high school, as Jimmy has talked about today. And Moses picks up the foul. Watch Byron Eton at Lincoln High School in Dallas. A little bit of everything, recruited by a lot of teams. 12 touchdowns rushing, 16 through the air. He could do it all. One of the premier high school football players around. And he's playing against another one that was a pretty good wide receiver and punt returner in Sharon Collins and DB. Here they are, number 4 against number 0. Collins will take it for 3. Got it!
I don't think you can go underneath the ball screen of Sharon Collins, Brad. He shoots it too well, and Eton is quick enough and strong enough to fight over the top.
Now the ball is loose. Reed trying to get to it, does, and score.
Kansas again, the #1 defensive team in the Big 12. Under Bill Self, they will always play outstanding defense. What is a sign of toughness? Not flinching when there's a loose ball. And that time, Kansas did not flinch when there was a loose ball.
Reed will try to cap off the three-point play. His first 3 of the ball game, and he's got it. And the lead swells to 19. And they are rocking and chalking. And now they feel it. Still a lot of basketball left, but can the Cowboys do anything about it? Eton swatted out of there, but fouled by Mario Little. Sharon Collins, who knocked down that three a minute ago, his third of the ball game. We talked about him. Look at him, class of 2006 at Collins High School. Pretty good pitcher on the baseball team too, checking the cleats there, making sure everything's all right. He's checked everybody pretty much today. Reed picks up the foul for Kansas. That's his first.
Brad, Sharon Collins, one of 3 Big 12 players on the Wooden Award midseason top 30 that recently came out.
And you mentioned a Kuzi finalist, and that's given to the top point guard in the country.
Unless something just spirals downward for Blake Griffin, I think he'll walk away with that Wooden Award at the end of the season.
He might win the Wooden and the Naismith both. His team a winner today, but they had to fight in Norman to win. We'll see Oklahoma and Oklahoma State in Bedlam 2 in Norman first Saturday of March on ABC.
And Oklahoma State extends their pressure because they're behind. They're in gamble mode defensively, but the last 3 times they've had this defense, Kansas has shot right in front of the rim on it.
Right there. Little this time is going to have to work for it, and he walked with it. And Bill Self says, "Are you kidding me?" You can read that one perfectly.
About a minute 30 away from the next TV timeout, a critical time for Oklahoma State. This lead can't grow. They have to cut into the lead because Travis Ford will start talking about playing this game now in 4-minute segments.
Manello drives inside, and for once the rebound is not Aldridge, but rather Tyrell Reed.
You know what, Kansas's first shot defense has been good in this ball game, and their second shot defense has been outstanding.
Morningstar was wide open. Page battling for it with Little. Got it to Aldridge. Foul on Oklahoma State.
Brad, another example of toughness out of Kansas. There's going to be a loose ball. Boom, don't flinch. Come up with it quickly, rattle the rim, and Fog Allen comes to life.
56-37.
Remember when I said Oklahoma State, if they keep missing threes, it'll be a 30-point game. If they cut into it and make them, they can whittle away.
Yep.
They better start making them right now.
Manello had it stripped by Collins, out of bounds to Kansas.
Returning to the Oklahoma State lineup, number 33.
We take a look at who's got the KFC hot hand. Little right now, 5 for 5, perfect. Morningstar 3 out of 7 for his 9.
You know what, and I think it's important that the hot hand is not Aldridge and Collins. The reason why I say that, Kansas in February, they have to develop a consistent third scorer, and today they've gotten it.
Moses has been the offense in the second half for the Cowboys. He's got 14. He's got 14. Manello has 16 to lead the way for Oklahoma State, but that's not enough. They need more from everybody. Aldridge, they cut him off at the pass, and now Collins has a 3-look. Trying to save it, and it's going to be out of bounds to Oklahoma State. We got a timeout. 11:43 remaining in the ball game. Sharon Collins with another 3-pointer, his third of the game. His team up 56-39. All right, Carl. There's Big J. Got a half a J out here too someplace. He's just about half the size of Big J. The Jayhawks have been big today, that's for sure. 56-39, they've led throughout. There's the biggest J. Aldridge, who's got 14 rebounds. Neton has really had to work just to dribble it around this court.
I'll tell you what, the way Kansas had defended Eton without fouling, a big underlying story in this ball game, because he's a guy that can go to the free throw stripe 18, 20 times a game.
Here he is again, double teamed, and had to pick up his dribble. Moses with 10 on the shot clock. backing in against Aldridge. Goes baseline off the glass. Nice move by Marshall Moses.
He's gone right at Aldridge's chest a few times in this ballgame, hasn't he? Just enough contact to get separation, but not enough contact to get fouled.
Here's Little. Well, they get it to him on that free throw line a lot.
A lot, you're right.
Three-pointer by Reed. Got it. Tyrell Reed, 41% three-point shooter. That's his first of the day.
He and Morningstar, the reason why they shoot such a high percentage, they take makes. They don't take questionable shots. They take makes.
Aldridge, a little bump. Defending way out on top of the circle. Only 4 days until a Wednesday night hoops doubleheader on ESPN. 7 o'clock, Syracuse takes on #1 UConn. Then at 9 Eastern, the Duke Blue Devils host the North Carolina Tar Heels. UNC Duke is subject to blackout in local markets. It's Wednesday night hoops presented by Disney Parks. Part of Rivalry Week presented by Cisco on ESPN. Duke a winner today, but they had to go overtime to beat Florida State. Bouncing back from getting crushed at Littlejohn the other night by Clemson.
You know, and I wonder what that thrashing that Duke took, Brad, last week will do to their psyche as far as, can we really win the national championship? Can they bounce back after getting hammered the 1st of February and be ready confidence-wise come March? That's a question I have on that team right now. They didn't get beat. They got thumped.
They did. Foul on Moses. Here's the coaches involved in that doubleheader. There's only about 3,000 wins there. I can't do the math. 29-66. Thanks. The truck. Eric Postman in the truck tells me 29-66. A bunch of Hall of Famers, let's say, are coaching those two teams. Let's put it that way.
All those guys are extremely tough. I love what Jim Calhoun has done with his club from the first Big East matchup where they got beat at home, because I don't think they were tough enough. They weren't disciplined, committed enough. And he has channeled those guys and challenged those guys, and now they are playing a very tough, rugged, sandpaper style of basketball about them.
Don't forget, UConn plays Michigan at 6 o'clock tonight on ESPN. That'll be followed by the primetime game as Memphis goes out to Gonzaga in Spokane. And a great non-conference matchup here at Allen Fieldhouse. Brad Nessler and Jimmy Dykes. It's been Kansas all the way from the opening basket. They led by 13 at halftime. They lead by 16 right now as we're past the midway point of the second half at Allen Fieldhouse.
Well, how lucky are we? Fog Allen on Saturday, and we'll be at Rupp Arena on Tuesday.
And we were at the O-Dome on the last Tuesday, and then we were at Vanderbilt at Memorial Gym on Thursday. That's a lot of hoops.
The two of the great venues, Fog Allen and Rupp Arena, back-to-back.
Aldridge with his 13th double-double of the year now, as he's been all over the glass, and that's his 5th field goal for 10 points.
Brad, one of the only few knocks I have on Aldridge, he only gets 25% of his points from the free throw stripe. You want your scholarship 5-man to get about 32% from the free throw stripe. He needs to get fouled with a little bit more consistency.
Maybe he's waiting until the mask comes off. Here he is defending, but he does it well and pulls off another rebound off the miss by Moses. He might end up with 20 boards or more today.
Didn't Blake Griffin out-rebound the entire Oklahoma State team a couple weeks ago?
He came into this game tied with Blake Griffin for the #1 field goal percentage mark in the Big 12. They were dead even at 63%. And he hasn't hurt his average today because most of his stuff's been inside close. He has missed a couple of hook shots, but he's also made a couple. So he's got 16 rebounds right now, and that's just one off his career high. He's already tied his career high, which was against Syracuse. So one more, and he's got a new mark.
Sharon Collins back in the ball game. Here's the lob off the out of bounds. They always run it. If you fall asleep, it's an automatic 2.
And the lead is 20.
Brad, if Sharon Collins doesn't enter the NBA draft early, and there's no indication that he's going to, if he comes back with everybody else coming back, Kansas is a preseason top 5 team last year. He's that important to Kansas, kind of like DJ Augustine would have been to Texas this year.
By the way, did I mention that Aldridge is the #1 shot blocker in the conference? He just blocked one on the other end. But Anderson comes down and hits his first 3 of the day. He came in with 50 on the season. Those 3-pointers, they're going to have to just start raining them pretty soon. There's 8 minutes left in the ball game, and they're down by 17.
Like I said, they'll either get back in the ball game or Kansas will win by 30. That's what Oklahoma State's going to have to do. Fire up threes. Again, Eton knows how to guard Collins because he's guarding himself. Keeps his hips lower than the dribbler.
I would bet that three by Rutherford is not what Coach Self was looking for. Meanwhile, on the other end, you can see Oklahoma State just firing it up. There's a new career high for Cole Aldridge, his 17th rebound of the afternoon.
Cole Aldridge is tired and he can't breathe through that mask as easily. He really needs a blow.
He's going to tear that baby off before he ever gets over there. He's done some work today, though, hasn't he? ESPN's College Basketball on ABC, presented by KFC, will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. So Blake Griffin didn't hurt his field goal percentage with 11 out of 14. Here's how the standings in the Big 12 look right now. Oklahoma alone on top. Kansas trying to stay within one in the win column. Look at the middle, though. That's kind of strange, Jimmy.
Well, look where Texas is. Nebraska and K-State ahead of Texas now. Those head-to-head meetings, there are 6 teams in the Big 12 coming in today, Brad, that have a RPI of 40 or better. And that bodes well for the Big 12, maybe getting as much as 6 bids in that NCAA.
And baby looking on. 7:10 remaining in the ball game. Morris inside. His brother's trying to get the rebound. He's trying to get the rebound, and neither twin does. Here come the Cowboys. Oklahoma need points, and they need them fast.
Yeah, I was just ready to say the Cowboys need quick threes.
There was a quick three by Anderson, but he missed it.
Let me rephrase. The Cowboys need quick 3 makes.
Makes, yes. Kansas can move it around the perimeter. Morningstar wide open. Missed a 3, and over the back's going to be called on Marcus Morris. Can the Cowboys come from behind and make it a ball game? We're about ready to find out. 64-47 right now.
ESPN's College Basketball on ABC. Presented by KFC's Sauceless Hot Wings. Spicy on the inside, crunchy on the outside. And Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life. The power to help you succeed.
Jayhawks have led throughout. They're up 17 with 6:44 remaining in the ball game. As we're halfway through the conference season, Jimmy, you've got your Big 12 mid-season awards to give out.
Well, right now, Player of the Year, obviously Blake Griffin. Freshman of the Year, Willie Warren. A terrific 1-2 combo right now for Jeff Capel. The Coach of the Year, it's got to be Bill Self. Mike Anderson running a close second. Stock up to the Missouri Tigers. And again, they take on Kansas on Big Monday, which is a huge ball game in this league. Stock down to Texas. And we did this graphic last night before Texas got beat today. And the surprise team is Baylor, as in a bad surprise. Baylor in verge of being left out of the NCAA tournament after beginning the season as a top 25 team. And they just don't defend well enough, Brad, I think, to stay in the hunt for a Big 12 title. You've got to defend, and that's why Kansas under Bill Self will always be in the title hunt.
And this team that they're playing right now, Oklahoma State, they have to shoot well, and they have to shoot the threes well, and they have to get up around that 85-point mark themselves, and they're so far off that right now with 6:40 to go, it's not even funny. They just haven't been able to make a dent in this big Kansas lead throughout the ball game.
And they need back-to-back-to-back stops right now. Can Oklahoma State string them together? I talked about it about 3 minutes ago, and they weren't able to do it. If they have any shot, they need a stop here, a basket, a stop here, and then one more stop. It's not easy to do on the road.
And the biggest problem they've had with stopping is if they do miss a shot, they don't get the rebound. Number 45 and White does. Here he is offensively on the baseline.
Yeah.
And chance for a three-point play on top of it. I wasn't even talking about his offense. I was talking about his defense.
Brad, you just have to have the ability to lock in on the road and not give up, you know, a very good short corner jump shot to a very good short corner jump shot shooter in Aldridge. Something that Travis Ford talked to me about last night. He said, you know, my entire game plan is not in. I don't have the depth that I need to really run and play the pace, especially defensively. I know we're not great right now on the defensive end. We just need to be good enough. In this game, they have not been good enough.
Manelo's been the best three-point shooter. Here's Eton, long triple. Aldridge, another rebound. He's heading to 20 on the boards. He's got plenty of time to get it. 6 minutes remaining. He has 18 right now.
And as fast as this game is, I've been impressed with Aldridge getting back and forth on this floor to be there in rebounding position because of a lot of quick shots in this ball game.
And Foul's going to be on Eton. That'll be Byron's third. And stops the clock with 5:46 remaining. Eton frustrated with the way things have gone today. He has only 3 points. He was 18 out of 20 just from the free throw line in that 29-point outburst against Texas Tech. And Jimmy mentioned he drew 11 fouls in that game. He's not drawing fouls in this one. They're doing a heck of a job double teaming him or staying away from him not to foul him. So it's been a tough day for number 00. Here he is offensively trying to get around Aldridge. Kansas defense has just been one step ahead, it seems like, the whole game.
Timeout called Oklahoma State.
5:29 remaining in the ball game. Still a big lead for Kansas, 66-49. Back at Fog Allen Fieldhouse, our Pacific Life game summary today. As you might guess, most of the good things on Kansas side. 12 points and 17 rebounds for Aldridge. Sherrod Collins. Manelo's got 19, but it hasn't been enough for Oklahoma State.
What a play by Collins, double teamed and then stayed low and stepped right through it with his backside.
There's a whistle and a foul on Collins. Don't forget the NBA coming up tomorrow on ABC. Tim Duncan and the Spurs take on KG and the reigning champion Celtics in game 1. And then could be the MVP come out of this game. Kobe against LeBron, NBA doubleheader. Lakers and Cavs will follow the Celtics, and the Spurs coverage starts at 12:30 Eastern on ABC.
Brad, Byron Eton has not had a good afternoon, but he has had a terrific year as a senior under Travis Ford. I think Travis has done a great job of keeping his foot on Byron Eton and saying, you're only going to do it my way or no way. He has a backup right now in Keaton Page that can keep Byron Eton under control. And
it's interesting, Travis, you mentioned how hard he played as a player at Kentucky and played 38 minutes a night. He told Byron Eton, he said, you know, if you want something you've never had, then you've got to do something you've never done. And that means work harder and harder and harder. And that's Travis's motto to number 00. And I think he's followed the path. He's lighter and better shape than he's ever been. So from that standpoint, he's listening to his first-year head coach.
Yeah, as well he should. He probably weighs a little bit less than 210, probably the lightest that he's been as a Cowboy. He put all that weight on his senior year in high school for football. It's been difficult to get it off of him.
Ball out of bounds to Kansas with 5 minutes remaining in the ball game. Way off his season average. Number 15 scorer in the conference, number 2 assist man. Taylor says, you know what, there's nobody out on the court. I guess I'm going to take it up and try to score. They don't need the points. They need to use the clock, but that was just a 2-on-2 play out there.
Well, they have built a wall time and time again against Eton. That time, Collins and Morningstar and Aldridge just formed a big white wall that Eton could not even think about penetrating.
Aldridge picks up the foul.
When you keep somebody as strong and as low to the ground and as quick as Eton down the lane, Brad, you've done a lot of good things. And one thing they've done, they've built a brick wall to keep a bulldog out of the lane in this ball game.
You were talking about his free throw shooting. He has made in his career 401 free throws, made free throws. That's a lot for a point guard. There's number 402.
Brad, look at this wall that I'm talking about. As he tries to penetrate, watch these white jerseys come at him. Just boom. Aldridge just steps up and meets him. And time again, his defender has been in great position. A shadow defender has been in great position. And a third guy has come over to help film a very firm wall against Byron Eton.
Got both free throws. 6 points is all, though, for Eton. Full court pressure by the Cowboys. Morningstar's having a little trouble getting it in. Comes free, though, to Taylor. Now a battle for it. And the possession arrow is going to go to Oklahoma State. So that time it pays off. They really had to work it three-quarter court to finally have Page hit the deck and get a piece of the basketball. So they'll get it back on their own baseline.
Keaton Page could not play for a better head coach than Travis Ford because of the same size, same style. Travis Ford can share everything he knows about how to play this game as a 5'9" guard.
Here he is, got his man in the air and squares up for three and got it. Right on Jimmy's cue.
Brad, one of the things you have to be able to do at 5'9" is to sell the ball fake. You have to be able to get yourself open just like Keaton Page did.
Lead is 13. Crazier things have happened as we approach the 4-minute mark.
Can they get back-to-back stops now? I keep going back to that point because that's the only hope you have if you're Oklahoma State.
Collins short off the rim, but the cleanup is there. Mario Little, not so little. 13 today for him, and that's almost 3 times his average.
Talked about Keaton Page being 5'9". One of the things he's learned about Travis Ford is how to play at this level. Boom. I mean, you talk about selling a shot fake. Ball that Brad got all the way up to the top, just like it looks like it's going to be a true release. His eyes locked him on the rim. Everything he did on that ball fake looked like he was going to shoot it. Sold it 100%.
Out of Pawnee, Oklahoma. There's a look at Travis in his playing days with Kentucky, and there's Keaton Page on the right. Out of Oklahoma, where also Rodney Clark from Mississippi State is, and I guess they're good buddies, right?
They are. Rodney Clark for Arkansas. They battled all 3 years for the career scoring lead in Oklahoma. Oklahoma High School Player of the Year. They are best buddies. They text each other every day. They're coachable. They're great young guys, the kind of guys that you want your daughters to marry someday, and they can flat out shoot the basketball.
You know who started that whole thing out of Oklahoma where the short guys like that could shoot?
Mark Price.
Mark Price.
Yes. Yeah. If I could pick someone right now for my daughter to marry, it'd be someone that's a great kid that can flat out shoot it.
I'd pick somebody that was 3 years old so she's not so much younger. Eat scores on the inside. Can't Kennedy just grow up? Come on, give the kid a chance. 3.5 to play. Auburn's going to dribble outside the arc.
I guess since I've spent more time with you this week than my wife.
That's right.
You deserve to throw singers at me. If I was at home, she'd be throwing singers at me.
I was home for 22 hours. Little on the baseline. Gonna have to put a shot up. Well, they get one away. Oh, and it goes a 3 at the buzzer by Taylor. Poor Oklahoma State. They hung in that long defensively. And then Taylor sticks a dagger in him from the right wing in the final second of the shot clock. 2:56, all that's left. That might be all that's left for the Cowboys with a shot like that. Now, speaking of desperate, Oklahoma State is right now because they're down 73-57 with 2:56 remaining. Marquette was stunned by South Florida. First Big East loss. Pat Summitt hit 1,000 this week. Showdown in Spokane tonight between Gonzaga and Memphis. And the winning streak, the longest in the country, is 2 minutes and 56 seconds from continuing at 37 in a row, courtesy of the Kansas Jayhawks. That's where we are, 73-57 with 2:56 remaining.
Another reason why Kansas will always be in that Big 12 title hunt and a threat in March. That's one of the dog recruiters right there in the college game right now. He is going hard every possession as a recruiter, just like Sharon Collins goes as a point guard. I talked about it yesterday, Brad, with you. He's coaching still right now like he's never won a Big 12 title, and he's coming off of a national title. I love guys that keep that hunger and that passion about him and everything, and he does it.
Of course, he was a player and a guard for these guys that he's playing against right now. And he was in Stillwater collegiately, a graduate, 85. As Tyshawn Taylor steps up to the free throw line, he's hit his first 2 today. Make it 3 straights. There's Bill as a guard back in the 80s. And then an assistant coach under Coach Sutton. That's a good look, good form. There he is as an assistant coach. A little more like what we see now, only without the glasses.
He and I were together on that Oklahoma State staff for less than a year, but he's a great basketball mind and a great communicator. He has that great feel in practice with his gut, when to get on somebody's backside and chew him out, and when to be the first guy to say, hey, great job, that's what I'm talking about. You have to be able to do that today.
Well, the Cowboys working hard. The possession arrow is going to go to Kansas. And there's Eaton and Collins helping each other up. I mentioned earlier, one of only 4 head coaches to take 3 different teams to the Elite Eight, Tulsa, Illinois, and then, of course, winning the national championship last year.
Well, he's locked in here now because he turned down his alma mater last year when the job opening came open in Stillwater. Got a major pay raise and a practice facility being built. And Bill Self is ready for the long haul here as the head hawk.
He didn't like that Harris steal and 3-pointer down in the corner, that's for sure. Stops things with 2:30 to play. And it's down to 13. One more time. There was Zorro and the Lone Ranger. There was Batman and still is. Phantom of the Opera, sang about as well as Jimmy. Mike Myers, Halloween, Darth Vader, James Earl Jones. And then, of course, we had the masked man here today who set a career high in rebounds with 18 so far to go with 12 points. Guess we could throw Rip Hamilton in there.
Oh, Rip Hamilton there. That's another good one.
Rip never took that thing back off. Cole broke his nose against Nebraska back on, what was it, January 28th, I guess. And so he'll wear that for until everything's healed, I guess. And as he said to us earlier, if you missed it, I was telling the story, he wants a big Jayhawk logo on each side. He thought that would look good. Kind of like the cheerleaders have when they paint their faces. That'd be a good look, actually. Here's Reed.
That's a jump ball.
And it is. And that's Eaton's strength. He did it at midcourt when it was Kansas possession arrow. Now he does it on Reed in the backcourt to turn it back over to the Cowboys. If they hit a 3 here, it's a 10-point game with 2:28 to go. Anything they hit is going to make it closer than it's been in a long time.
Yep.
In fact, it would be the closest it has been since the first half. Manello for 3. That one just died on the side of the iron. And now Collins dribbling out of trouble and traffic. Boy, look at that job. The length of the floor. He went all 94 feet on the dribble and passed about 3 guys in orange en route. And now they can pull it out, get it under 2 minutes.
This will be the last possession that Oklahoma State can just play straight up. After this, they're going to have to start fouling. No need to foul now. Just clean up the miss if it's there.
Aldridge inside with a left hand, and he missed. So Oklahoma State got the stop. They had to work the clock. Rather, Kansas worked the clock all the way down. Moses didn't get it. Morningstar did. 1:35 left. Taylor this time, he pulls it out. Last time he took it to the glass, but that was about 4 minutes ago.
I think they got a foul. I mean, they can't even be real choosy about it right now.
They just as soon it not be Sharon Collins, who's an 85% free throw shooter. Eaton knows that.
A little surprised that Oklahoma State's going to let a full 35 seconds tick off on this possession.
Now Collins goes to work. A floater from the free throw line. Rebound Moses. A minute remaining right now. There's going to be a 3 from long range right here, and it didn't go. And Little pulls down the rebound, hands it to Aldridge. Travis Ford wants a trap in the backcourt. He had to really yell at Obi Manello to get him to come back and help out. And a 10-second call. Sharon Collins, numbers don't even tell really what he does, I don't think. And Cole Aldridge, career high, 18 rebounds to go with 12 points, his 13th double-double of the season.
Brad, you hear me talk about great point guards all the time. They don't run their offense, they run their team. And that's what Sharon Collins did today.
And Moses parts the lane for his 18th, make it 16th points. And a timeout taken, drawing a round of boos from the folks here at Allen Fieldhouse as they stop the clock with just under 40 seconds. Don't forget, coming up tonight, we got a 1-2 punch for you on ESPN at 6 o'clock. #1 team in the country, UConn, hosting the Wolverines of Michigan. Then at 9, Saturday night primetime, presented by DirecTV. Memphis The Tigers go out to Spokane to take on the Bulldogs of Gonzaga. Saturday night showdowns. UConn 21-1, another #1 team. Can they handle going out there against Mark Few and a team that's always tough on their home floor? Seems like when you've talked about long winning streaks on home floors, they always come in to play as well. Utah State, I think right now, is the #2 team behind this Kansas team that is 39 seconds away from making 37 in a row.
UConn on that trail of a #1 seed, and that game for Memphis and Gonzaga, what's at stake in that ball game? You win that ball game, you elevate yourself up a line or two in the seed department. If you lose it, you might drop down one. That's an impactful game for those two teams tonight.
Nice job by Kansas ball handling to get it into the front court, spread out the court. And now the fouls apparently aren't going to come, and the win is going to be Kansas. So Oklahoma State put together a little bit of a run, but not like they've been able to do earlier this year. It's just too good a team here on the floor. Sharon Collins puts a little cherry on top of the whipped cream. 78-64. That one goes to change the score, but that's about all it does. And it's an easy win for Kansas. They go wire to wire to go to 19-4, perfect at 8-0, just a game behind Oklahoma in the Big 12 standings. Once again, final score, the Jayhawks on their home floor, they run it to 37 straight, 78-67. Don't forget, tune in to NBA Sunday on ABC tomorrow, doubleheader, Celtics and the Spurs and the Lakers and the Cavaliers. Right now from Fog Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas, for Jimmy Dykes, Brad Nessler saying so.